Hey, I'm Rosie O'Donnell, and this is 10 Chaotic Questions with The Guardian. That is a loud clap, sir. No, you did well. You don't need the real thing.
Part of your show is a love letter to your new adopted home of Ireland.
Yes.
Who is your favorite Irish person?
Well, I think Living or Dead was Sinead. I loved Sinead. I thought she was an unbelievable artist and truth teller, and you know, in a country that maybe wasn't ready for it, or a world that wasn't ready for it yet. But you know, I read all of her stuff that she ever wrote and all of her lyrics, and you know, I have tremendous empathy and sympathy for her and how she lived, and sadly died so soon. But I think the death of her son took it out of her. But I would say, you know, of all the Irish people, she's the one that really moved me the most, or Frank McCourt, who wrote Angela's Ashes, which also I thought was tremendous.
What is the weirdest thing that has ever happened to you on stage?
Meatloaf French kissed me. Okay, you know, remember Meatloaf? Stop right there.
Yeah.
I wanna know right now. Well, we were doing that song, and he like put me in a dip, and then he like kissed me like with his tongue, and I was like, what the hell is going on? And it was live TV, so I didn't quite know what to do. So I like looked up, and I was like, okay, Meatloaf, we'll be back right after this. Like, it was just something. And then his mother wrote me and said, you can't be mean to my son. He's a lovely man, and you embarrassed him. I'm like, well, I'm sorry that I didn't want to be French kissed by him.
Sounds like
without warning.
Himself. Rosie, I feel like we have to talk about And Just Like That, where you recently appeared as a virgin nun who comes to New York and romances Miranda with kind of every New York cliche under the sun. In that spirit, what is the most embarrassing thing that you have done for love?
I would say mostly waited around. You know, waited around until it felt possible, you know? And I think that is romantic, to know something and then to go, well, I'm willing to wait for this, you know, until it's right. And so I think that. I don't do like grandiose gestures like, you know, flying somebody to Italy for dinner. I've never done that, but that seems romantic. Although exhausting. You know, it takes patience and understanding and forgiving, a lot of forgiving, and forgiving yourself, you know, to be able to stand truly naked and vulnerable and honest beside the person that you love.
What is the strangest job you've ever had?
I worked at the Sears store, which is like JCPenney's. I don't know if you have Sears here.
No, we don't, but Sears, of course.
Yes, in the U.S. And I was working in the catalog department. So people would come in and ask for the things they ordered, and I would go back into the bins and find it and bring it out. And oftentimes I was left to tell them that although they only kept one shirt, they needed to pay the full shipping because the cost of shipping one shirt is different than shipping 5, and then we have to ship the 5 back. So they would say, well, I'm not paying that. So I would end up giving money from my pocket. I'm like, all right, here's your $3. Thank you. And I ended up like losing money at the job. So I would say that. I'm a bleeding heart. I don't know. Everyone says I'm so tough. I'm like, if you only knew. The manager found out that I was doing it, and I thought I was going to get fired. But he thought it was so nice of me that he said, we're going to make sure you don't have to deal with customers. We'll just make you in the back doing the bins. I'm like, thank you, because I didn't have to get dressed up. I was just like, you know, somebody doing boxes in the back.
What has been your most memorable interaction with a member of the public?
Well, I would say the people who see me and start to cry. And I always try to be overly present and deliver for them in some way because of their expectations, you know? Like sometimes I'll be like in the supermarket with my kid, and this is in America, not in Ireland, and I just see somebody stop, and then their eyes fill up. And I go, here we go, you know? And I go, hello? And they said, are you Rosie? I said, I certainly am. said, I knew it was you. I can't believe this is happening. And I was like, it's okay. What can I do for you? What can I tell you? Do you have a question? What do you want to know?
And they just keep crying.
They cry more, and then they apologize for crying, and then I tell them don't be silly, and they try to take a picture, and they're so discombobulated they can't get the picture right. But it's a beautiful human connection at that point. I mean, I remember there would be a time where I was at the Gap when my children were little, Gap kids, and I was at the sale rack and I was buying things because they grow so quick, and I was only newly on the show.
Of course.
And people were like, why are you taking all the sale stuff? And I was like, what are you talking about? I have kids like you do. They go, yeah, but you're rich. And I was like, so I don't get to get anything on sale from now on? Is that the deal with that? So there have been memorable in a bad way that, and then memorable in a beautiful way.
If you could change the size of any animal to keep as a pet, what would it be?
Well, I'm gonna say kangaroo. Because they're so adorable until I saw the one that looks like a prize fighter.
Yes.
It's like, Arnold Schwarzenegger meets Mike Tyson meets another professional boxer I can't think of. It was unbelievable to me. It looked like the scariest man on steroids from, the gym. And then I saw a thing where it kicked someone and the person flew back like 40 feet. And I don't know, it felt to me very terribly scary. And I thought if they were cute and little, what are the names of the little ones that look kind of like squirrels, and in Perth you can see
quokkas.
Yes, quokkas.
Yeah.
They look adorable. Now
They
sometimes they look a little too much like a rat, but most times, well, I don't like rats. I don't like rodents.
Rats are underappreciated animals.
Oh, are you kidding?
Yes, but see, I've never been to New York, so I'm not across the whole, the rodent.
We're
infestation.
talking a rat like this in New York, running on the subway tracks.
Pizza rat.
The size of a dog. And you would be stunned to know how many there are.
Rosie, your show is called Common Knowledge. What do you think should be common knowledge but isn't?
That every life is equal value to each other. And I think people forget that, and that's why atrocities like Gaza are allowed to happen.
Rosie, when you get to a hotel, what is the first thing you do?
Make sure the lock works on the door. All the time. And I have a friend who never locks the door at a hotel. I'm like, do you understand everyone has a pass key? If you don't put the lock on it, anyone could come in and murder you in the middle of the night. She's like, no one's gonna murder me. I'm like, oh my God, to live like that.
That's what they all say. What film do you always return to and why?
Sound of Music. Fighting fascism with musicals, with songs interspersed. Climbing over those mountains, the nun saying, Reverend Mother, I have sinned, and having the carburetors. It was my favorite movie of all time. If I see it on, I stop and I watch every single thing. And I think it's the most beautiful performance by both Christopher Plummer and the amazing Julie Andrews.
What is the oldest thing you have, and why do you still have it?
The oldest thing I have is a piece of jewelry my mother gave to me when she was in the hospital sick. And I never took it out of the box. And it's a little pretend ring, like for a little girl. And I still have it. Yeah. And I look at it sometimes and I go, well, it's the memory of the last time I saw my mother, right? One of the last times. And so that's why I keep it. But I also have this toy that I got for my 10th birthday, which is interesting. That's when my mom died, when I was 10. From Paula Mattarella, who was in my class in 3rd or 4th grade. And I remember, I still have it. I see it in my apartment in New York, and I'm like, I can't believe I still have that toy. It was like a little, like a gummy sculpture, but it was moved, like it moved or wiggled a little bit. Like a bobblehead, but the whole thing was bobbleheady, and it had 2 plastic eyes. And it's a rabbit, and I still have it. I don't know why.
Paula?
Mattarella. Paula Mattarella. Hello, Paula. I used to call her Mutz. Hi, Mutz.
Are you guys still in contact?
Yes.
Beautiful.
I helped her adopt her baby.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And it all came back down to that rabbit.
And it all came down. I said to her, you're not going to believe this, Mutz, but I still have that rabbit. She's like, you don't! And I took a picture. And I sent it to her, and I sure did. Exactly.
Yeah.